Okay, let me share a few things. All right. Number one, causes of macro problems, like I said, change in AD. In other words, ice peak already affects 3 goals. Okay, then you revise the other 50% to your causes, like structural and frictional unemployment, like your cost push inflation, like your potential growth. That's a read page 133 on elasticity relevance. If you do this too, when it comes to content, it's done already, you know. So the question is, what about application? Do we have essay structures for causes? We don't have essay structures because, okay, I'll share with you. When it comes to application, causes tend to be part A in your essays. So in part A, they will ask you to explain the main causes of inflation or explain the main causes of unemployment. So because it's part A and not part B, all right, it's going to be level 3 based on the 2 C's. Okay, so this is application. Level 3 based on the 2 C's means content. It means context. Okay, so I'm giving you a way to do your revision that fits what will appear in your promos. Okay, so when you're looking at content, it never ever changes from demand and supply until now. Definitions. You have to define your macro goals, you know. There's no way to skip that. There's no way to use your own words. You have to define even the subsets. Not just define inflation, define demand pool inflation. Rise in AD as the economy approaches full employment. It's very specific one. Okay? Diagram. Okay. So you have diagrams for demand pool inflation, diagram for actual growth, diagram for cyclical unemployment, diagram for cost push inflation, diagram for potential growth. Now thinking about that, I may not go through consequences today because I think I'll help you out a bit here. Okay. So this part, you have to check your notes. But I will give you a few things to get started. Explanation. A large part is how do you explain your diagram? Okay. So I think I will do these two as examples. How do you explain demand pool inflation? How do you explain a change in cyclical unemployment? Okay, I will show you what is a rigorous explanation. So how do you explain this? Okay. This one you should take down also, because why? It's going to last you all the way to next year. Okay. So when you explain this, I'll say as AD rises, when the economy approaches full employment, right? AD rises when the economy approaches full employment. You will see this point in the notes. Supply bottlenecks are experienced. What is a bottleneck? You try pulling out things from a bottle. The neck is very constrained. It's the one that constrains the flow of the liquid. If the net wasn't so narrow, the thing will pour out very quickly. Supply bottlenecks means there is some constraint to which the economy can produce things. Okay? Next one. Competition for the limited factors of production increases production cost. So as you are experiencing full employment, FE is full employment, okay? You are competing for land, labor, okay? So what happens is you push out production costs, which is passed on through higher GPL to consumers. There's one more point. You can see it's so precise. At the same time, competition for the goods and services produced increases GPL directly. So there are actually two effects. You have the indirect one. GPL goes up because of higher COP. Then you have the direct one. Okay, the direct one is you compete for the goods and services that are already on the shelves. This is competing for factors. The other one is competing for the existing output. Both translate into higher production, higher GPL. Hence, demand pull inflation. Any questions? Okay. So that's how I will explain demand pull inflation. Let's look at how we will explain a fall in cyclical unemployment. Okay. You got this down? Huh? Important, huh? Okay. So in the case of cyclical unemployment, I'll say as AD rises, firms experience an unplanned fall in stocks, or another name for stocks is inventory. What you have in your warehouse, you find that your warehouse is running low. Okay. Therefore, they will expand production. In the next cycle. So maybe next year they will expand production. In the process, they will hire more factor services from households. When they hire more factor services, household income rises, inducing additional consumption spending. Okay, so when the household income goes up, based on what you studied in the circular flow, households will consume more. And this, okay, you can say as one person's spending is another's income. Okay, the repeated rounds of induced spending and income generation, right, will lead to a multiplied increase in national income. You see, we use a succinct version of the multiplier here, and it's really succinct, maybe even more succinct than what you have in your school notes. Okay? Derived demand for labor rises, therefore cyclical unemployment falls. Not a direct one-liner. It's a bit like demand and supply. Remember your adjustment to equilibrium? Oh, there's a shortage, there's upward pressure on price. As price goes up, yada yada yada. Okay, so the same rigor is reflected here. That's how you can prepare comprehensively for questions on causes. Okay. Now, if I go back to the DDEE, okay? Examples, don't force it, all right? Just best effort. Along the way, I'll show you more. If you have it, bring it in. If not, it's okay, right? Now, what about context? Context can be shown in the preamble. Okay, so they may say, China has an aging population and the economy is slowing down. They could put this in the case study also. Then you're asked to explain the main causes of unemployment. In China. 10 marks. Okay. Can you see the causes of unemployment here? The preamble? What do you see here? I think it's fair to say when the economy is slowing down, we should be thinking of cyclical, which is tied to demand. Aging population, what is it? Structural. Okay? So you have made use of the context. The rest of it is just content. There is only one diagram for cyclical unemployment. Okay? So I said that is based on the preamble. Do you know there's a country where they do not have to give you a preamble and you're supposed to know the context? Singapore. Alright? Singapore context. So, Singapore context, the good news is that we have a section on this in the book. Okay, page 173. Page 173 will be the last thing that I'm showing you today, okay? So under page 173, here I said that, many questions on macroeconomic problems and policies are based on the Singapore context, okay? So we know that Singapore is small and open, which means we become import reliant and export driven. Fair enough, yes? So what about economic growth? If a question asks you to explain main causes of economic growth in Singapore,